Alright, picking up on your review on number 11, you're just told to solve this problem. They don't really tell you how to solve it, so it doesn't matter what method you use, but I do know if I'm going to solve this, it's all got to be set equal to 0. Um, Actually, it doesn't. Now that I look at it, this is a perfect square. This is x plus 6 squared equals 17. I can do it by completing the square. That makes it easier. This factors is a perfect, sorry, that's 12x. This is x plus 6 times x plus 6 would give you x squared plus 12x plus 36. So now if I square root both sides, this side removes the square, so it's just x plus 6 equals plus and minus the square root of 17. Subtract 6 from both sides, so negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 17. That was much faster than having to do quadratic formula. But if you do quadratic formula, you should get the exact same answer. All right, moving on to number 12. This time they do tell me to use by completing the square. So if you complete the square, now I've told you guys this, you don't have to do this by completing the square, but if you want to, you can. If you want to do quadratic formula, that's fine. You just set it equal to 0 and then do your a, b, and c. But for completing the square, you want your x squared and your x term. So I'm going to add it to move it over here on one side and your constant term on the other. And then you take half of b, which will be 4, and square it and add it to both sides. So I add 16 to both sides. Now this side is a perfect square. The last one was x squared plus 6x plus 12 and factored to x plus, is x squared plus 12x plus 36 factored to x plus 6. This is x squared plus 8x plus 16. It factors to x plus 4 squared, because if you were to FOIL, it would get x squared plus 4x, and 4x makes 8x, and 4 times 4 is 16. And this side is 19. 3 plus 16. Square root both sides. Remember, you got a plus and minus square root. So this side becomes x plus 4 equals plus and minus the square root of 19. Subtract 4 from both sides. You get negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 19. So your answer is A. The next one, they tell me to solve it by the quadratic formula. It's already set equal to 0, so that's good. So A is 3, B is negative 10, C is negative 8. My voice is not good, so I won't sing the song for you today, but x is equal to negative b. Since this is a negative 10, that would make this 10, plus or minus the square root of b squared. That's negative 10 squared. Make sure you put it in parentheses so that when you square it, it becomes a positive, minus 4ac over 2a. I pulled the calculator up just in case I need it, but I think I can do a little bit of this by myself. 10 squared is 100. 4 times 3, that's 12, times 8 is 96, so that's going to be plus 96, because it's minus 4, and then times a minus 8 would make that plus over 6. So that's 10 plus or minus the square root of 196 over 6, and the square root of 196 is 14. So I've got 10 plus 14 over 6, which would be 24 over 6, which is 4, and then 10 minus 14 over 6, which would be negative 4 over 6, which is negative 2/3. So my answer should be positive 4 and negative 2/3. So B is my answer. Number 14, considering only the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac, to determine whether one real number solution, two different real number solutions, or two different imaginary solutions exist. Remember the b squared minus 4ac, I shouldn't have written it up there. The b squared minus 4ac is what's underneath this radical, and that's what you've got the plus or minus in the quadratic formula. If this is a positive number, then you're going to have two different real number solutions, because you'd have plus the square root of something and minus the square root of something. If it's a negative underneath here, the b squared minus 4ac, if that's negative, then you're going to have two different, should have put two different reals here, two different imaginaries, because then you'd be putting a negative underneath the square root. So you've had to add something I and subtract something I. So two different imaginaries. And if you get 0, then you're just going to have one real solution, because that'd be plus 0 and minus 0, which is essentially the same thing. So in this particular problem, A would be 1, B would be negative 2, and C would be negative 3. So I'm only going to do b squared minus 4ac. I'm not going to do the whole thing. So negative 2 squared, make sure you put parentheses around it, minus 4 times 1 times negative 3 That'd be 4. This would be plus 12 because it's minus some negative, so that'd be 16. So since I got a positive number, I've got two different real number solutions. That's 14. Number 15, solve graphically. I'm going to pull out the calculator for this one. X squared minus 9x plus 11. So clear this. Go to y equals x squared. I don't remember what it was. X squared minus 9x plus 11. I'm going to graph that. And I've got to find the zeros. So it's crossing here and here. So to find the zeros, you go second, trace, 2. And then I've got to find the left bound. That's too far. That's a good left bound. I'm going to be to the left of this point, and it'll kind of draw a little line. I'm going to move over till I'm to the right of this point. And what it does is it finds out where does it hit 0 between these two lines. So it's going to find me that point right there. And one of my answers is going to be 1.4586. So 1.459. So it looks like C is going to be my answer, but I'm going to find that other one just to make sure. Second, trace 2. I'm going to come over to this side and do a left bound and a right bound. So I'll make my left bound just about here, and my right bound over here, and find it, and it says it's at 7.541. So my answer is C. Alright, I'm going to leave the calculator here. I think I might need it. Nope, don't need it for that one. X squared minus 9x minus 9, it says give exact answers, so the calculator is not going to help me here. So looking at this, it doesn't factor. I could complete the square, but then I'd be taking half of 9, which is a fraction, and that's kind of messy. So I'm going to do quadratic formula. A is 1, B is negative 9, C is negative 9. So x is equal to negative b, so since b is negative 9, that'd be 9, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So I get 9 plus or minus, I don't know if I want to do this in my head, it'd be 81 plus 4 times 1 times 9 is 36, and it's plus because it's a minus times a minus, over 2, which is 9 plus or minus the square root of, that'd be 119, 6, no, 7, 117 over 2. So now I got to figure out how does 117 factor. 3 goes into it. 117 divided by 3 is what? 39. 39, and then 3 goes into 39 13 times. So I've got 2 3's and a 13. So this is going to be 9 plus or minus 3 squared of 13 over 2. And that doesn't simplify because 9 and 3 can't be divided by 2. So 9 plus or minus 3 squared of 13 over 2. My answer will be D. Alright, number 17. Use a graphing calculator to find the zeros. So 1.18x squared. Type this in. Oh. Alright, 1.18x squared minus 13.37x minus 1.94. And I've got some other stuff there that I didn't take out before I started. It's not going to work. Clear. Start again. 1.18x squared minus 13.37x minus 1.94. And graph that. Look at where it crosses and find the two zeros for this function. So here is one, and I don't see the other one. So I'm assuming since it went down, it's got to come back up. It's quadratic. It's opening upward. So let's adjust this window a little bit. Let's look at what they've got as my choices. 11 into 22. Let's go up to 25. Let's make the x-min since they have negative 11 as 1. I'm going to put negative 12 just in case this one was a 0. We would get that one in. So let's take a look at this graph. Alright, now I see the two zeros. So I'm going to find them. I don't see the bottom, but I don't really need the bottom at this point. I just need to find the zeros. Second, trace 2. I need a left bound. So I'm going to go over here to the left of this point. Looks like it's right around 0 to me. So left bound, enter. Right bound, enter. So it looks like one of my zeros is at negative 1.143. So B is going to have to be my answer, but I'm going to go ahead and check the other one just to make sure that it is really 11.474. I know it wasn't between 0 and 10 because we didn't see it before. It doesn't look like it's real close to 20, but here's a left bound and a right bound. And my other zero should be 11.474. It sure is 11.473797, which rounds to 11.474. So my answer is B. Number 18. I'm going to stop right here. That's a little bit over 10 minutes. I'll pick up on the next one.